Have you ever felt a deep sense of unease, a lingering question in your soul about the most foundational story of humanity, the tale of Adam and Eve? What if I told you that the version etched into our collective consciousness, the one we find in the widely accepted Bible, might not be the complete story? What if there were ancient texts, hidden for centuries, whose suppressed narratives of Genesis could utterly transform our understanding of our own origins, the nature of humanity, and even the very essence of God? This isn't just about dusty old scrolls, it's about reclaiming a deeper, more healing truth. It's about shining a light on the mysteries of creation that have been concealed, reshaping our spiritual journey, and unlocking profound insights into divine wisdom. We're talking about lost scriptures, forgotten histories, and esoteric teachings that could liberate your mind and heart. Were these stories deliberately erased? What incredible insights did they contain that were deemed too powerful, too controversial, or too liberating for the masses? Today we embark on an illuminating quest, a spiritual awakening, to uncover the hidden truths of Genesis. We'll delve into these forbidden texts, revealing why they were set aside and what their true message might be. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew, to feel a surge of curiosity, and to embrace a more expansive view of creation. Join us, and together, we will shed light on the sacred knowledge that has been whispering to us across millennia. The story of creation, as told in the book of Genesis, holds a sacred place in the hearts of millions, painting a vivid picture of beginnings. But what if this sacred canvas has layers hidden beneath, stories deliberately veiled from our sight? Imagine for a moment that there are other ancient accounts echoing through time that offer a profoundly different perspective on the very dawn of humanity. These aren't mere whispers of legend. They are texts like the Genesis Apocryphon found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, offering a richer, more intimate glimpse into the lives of early patriarchs like Noah. Consider the Book of Jubilees, a profound ancient Jewish text that meticulously rechronicles creation, providing additional divine laws and insights, or the Targum, Aramaic translations that weave in interpretive narratives not present in the original Hebrew. Most compelling, perhaps, are the Gnostic texts, unearthed treasures like those from Nag Hammadi, which challenge the very nature of the Creator and the created world, suggesting an entirely different cosmic drama. When we compare these vibrant narratives with the mainstream Genesis, we begin to see not just differences in detail, but fundamental shifts in perspective. What was changed, and more significantly, what profound truths were removed from the common narrative? What if Adam, the first man, was not truly the first being? This very idea sends ripples through established beliefs, yet it's a concept gently suggested in some ancient traditions. These hidden narratives hint at other forms of life preceding Adam, or even coexisting with him, raising profound questions about the uniqueness of his creation. Why would such stories be considered dangerous, threatening the very fabric of religious systems at the time? Perhaps because the concept of other beings predating humanity's first parents could challenge the singular narrative of original sin and redemption, shifting Adam and Eve from their central, pivotal roles. This revelation isn't meant to diminish faith, but to expand it, offering a more nuanced understanding of creation. It suggests that our accepted knowledge of human origins might have been intentionally limited, curated into a safe version that served particular theological or social agendas. As we ponder this, ask yourself, what else about our origins have we been prevented from truly knowing? And then there is Eve, often portrayed as the one responsible for humanity's downfall, the fragile figure easily swayed by temptation. Yet, in the pages of these ancient, often suppressed texts, her image undergoes a radical transformation. Imagine Eve not as the deceived, but as the awakened. In certain Gnostic Gospels, such as On the Origin of the World, Eve is depicted as a figure of divine wisdom, the one who first received true gnosis, or spiritual knowledge. She is the bringer of enlightenment, the one who saw beyond the veil of illusion, rather than the one who succumbed to weakness. This shifts the entire dynamic of the garden narrative. Instead of being blamed for humanity's fall, she becomes the catalyst for consciousness, the one who empowered humanity to see beyond a limited, predetermined existence. This profound difference invites us to reconsider traditional interpretations of gender, knowledge, and accountability. Was this reframing of Eve a deliberate choice to maintain a particular patriarchal or hierarchical order, perhaps to keep knowledge controlled and accessible only to a select few? This perspective offers a healing balm to centuries of misunderstanding, inviting us to embrace a more empowered view of humanity's shared past. And what about the serpent, the infamous antagonist of the Garden of Eden, the cunning tempter responsible for Eve's fall and the subsequent expulsion of humanity? What if the serpent was not a malicious deceiver, but a benevolent guide, a teacher? This radical reinterpretation appears in some fascinating ancient traditions. Imagine the serpent as a bringer of knowledge, a wise entity who sought to liberate Adam and Eve from a state of blissful ignorance, leading them towards true awareness and self-realization. In this light, the act of eating the forbidden fruit transforms from a sin into a pivotal moment of awakening, a crucial step in humanity's evolution towards consciousness. This challenges the very bedrock of original sin and the subsequent need for redemption through conventional means. It suggests that the forbidden fruit was not evil, but simply knowledge, and the serpent, a catalyst for growth. This alternative narrative fosters a deeper understanding of the complexities of good and evil, wisdom and ignorance, inviting us to question the narratives we've inherited. Could it be that the suppression of this perspective was to maintain control, to keep humanity dependent on intermediaries for spiritual truth, rather than empowering individuals to seek knowledge directly? The removal of these vibrant, often revolutionary texts from the official canon was no accident. It was a deliberate and complex process driven by powerful political and religious reasons. During the early centuries of Christianity and Judaism, councils and authorities meticulously selected which scriptures would be deemed inspired and which would be cast aside, often to be forgotten or even destroyed. This rigorous selection process was guided by doctrinal purity, the desire for institutional control, and the need to establish a unified theological narrative. Texts that challenged emerging orthodoxies, promoted concepts of direct divine knowledge, like the Gnostic texts, or simply conflicted with the established power structures of the burgeoning church, were deemed dangerous and systematically excluded. This wasn't about preserving every truth, but about preserving a particular truth that served the interests of those in power. Understanding this historical context offers a healing perspective, revealing how much of what we believe today is a result of human choices and historical contingencies rather than solely divine mandate. How different would our understanding of faith be if these diverse interpretations had been embraced instead of suppressed? Consider the image of God himself. In the canonical Genesis, God is often portrayed as an omnipotent, righteous, and sometimes stern judge, swift in his retribution. Yet, within the excised ancient versions, a more poignant and deeply empathetic image of the divine emerges. Imagine a God who grieves, a heavenly parent filled with sorrow and pain over the choices of his beloved children, a compassionate father deeply affected by humanity's struggles and loss. These narratives show a God who is not just distant judgment, but intimate compassion, a heart that aches with the pain of separation. Why was this tender, more vulnerable aspect of the divine not included in the mainstream Bible? Perhaps portraying a God who experiences suffering or emotional pain was seen as diminishing his ultimate perfection or power, making him seem less unassailable. This suppression might have been intended to reinforce an image of an unyielding, untouchable deity, rather than one who truly suffers with his creation. This revelation offers a profoundly healing understanding of God's boundless love, suggesting that his compassion is far deeper and more personal than we might have imagined. What if embracing this image of a suffering God could lead us to a deeper, more empathetic connection with the divine? Even the simple detail of Adam and Eve's garments after the fall holds a deeper, more symbolic meaning in these ancient interpretations. The familiar narrative describes them being clothed in animal skins, signifying their new, vulnerable state. But some esoteric texts and ancient religious writings propose something far more profound. They suggest that these garments were not just physical coverings, but rather a representation of a lost light, a spiritual covering, or even the soul's descent into a denser, more material existence. This implies that their clothing was not merely about modesty, but a powerful spiritual symbol of the shift from an ethereal divine state to a physical, mortal reality. It signifies the embracing of death and the full immersion into the material world. This deeper understanding enriches the narrative, transforming it from a simple act of covering nakedness into a profound spiritual allegory of transformation and loss. And what about Eden itself? Is it truly a physical garden, somewhere tangible on earth, a literal paradise from which humanity was expelled? The ancient narratives offer a far more expansive and captivating vision. Many suppressed texts suggest that Eden was not a physical place at all, but a sacred space, a spiritual dimension, a state of being where consciousness was intertwined with the eternal. It was a realm of pure spiritual connection, a place where humans lived in a timeless, unified state. We see echoes of this concept in ancient Sumerian and Babylonian myths, and most explicitly in Gnostic cosmological texts, where Eden represents a primal, higher state of awareness. This perspective reframes the expulsion not as a banishment from a geographical location, but as a descent from a higher state of consciousness into the limitations of the material world. This is a powerful healing insight, reminding us that paradise might not be something lost in history, but a state of being we can strive to reconnect with. Then there's the timeless question that has puzzled scholars and believers alike. Where did Cain find his wife? If Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel were the first and seemingly only humans, this question becomes a theological riddle. The canonical text offers no direct answer, leaving a void. However, some ancient versions and rabbinic traditions grapple with this very query, proposing that Cain's wife came from a lineage or a world outside of the immediate Garden of Eden narrative. This implies the existence of other human populations or creations not explicitly detailed in the singular Genesis account. This question, and the varied attempts to answer it in older texts, highlights a tension within the biblical narrative itself. The suppression of these discussions might have been to maintain a simplified, linear narrative of creation, avoiding the complexities that hint at multiple origins or diverse human populations beyond Adam and Eve's direct lineage. Finally, consider the extraordinary idea that Adam was more than just the first man. He was a prophet, privy to divine revelations and cosmic visions. Some intriguing ancient texts suggest that Adam wrote a book, a sacred text detailing the profound spiritual insights and prophetic visions he witnessed directly from the divine. Imagine the power contained within such a manuscript. This Book of Adam could have contained foreknowledge of humanity's destiny, deeper truths about the universe, or profound spiritual teachings. If such a book existed, why was it lost or deliberately suppressed? Perhaps it was deemed too potent, too challenging to the established religious doctrines of the time, or offered truths that conflicted with the aims of emerging religious institutions. The notion of humanity's first ancestor having direct, recorded divine wisdom would have fundamentally altered the relationship between believers and religious authority. This lost knowledge, if rediscovered, could offer profound healing and guidance for our current spiritual journey. As we draw this illuminating journey to a close, let's reflect on the profound significance of what we've uncovered. The excised narratives of Genesis are not merely forgotten stories. They are echoes of a more expansive, more nuanced understanding of our origins, of humanity's true potential, and of the multifaceted nature of the divine. These ancient texts, once hidden in shadows, offer a healing perspective, inviting us to question the rigid interpretations we may have inherited and to embrace a broader, more compassionate spiritual worldview. Imagine for a moment if these suppressed narratives, of Adam not being the first, of Eve as a bringer of divine wisdom, of the serpent as a teacher of knowledge, of a grieving God, of spiritual garments, of Eden as a state of being, of other origins, and of Adam's lost prophetic book. If these stories had been woven into the very fabric of the canonical Bible, how might our collective understanding of God, of sin, of redemption, and of humanity's inherent divinity be transformed? What new pathways to spiritual awakening might have opened? What deeper truths might have resonated with our souls, offering greater comfort and guidance through life's challenges? These are not just academic questions, they are invitations to a deeper personal reflection. Perhaps the true power of these forbidden texts lies not in replacing what we know, but in enriching it, in adding layers of wisdom and compassion that were long overdue. They whisper of a divine love that is infinitely more expansive, a humanity endowed with far greater potential for gnosis and enlightenment than we often dare to imagine. This journey is about reconnecting with a spiritual heritage that seeks to heal and empower, guiding us towards a more complete understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos. If this video has touched your soul, if it has illuminated a hidden corner of your understanding, or if it has simply sparked a flicker of curiosity and hope within your heart, I invite you to share your thoughts. What aspect of these hidden Genesis stories resonated most deeply with you? What new questions have emerged on your spiritual path? Your insights are invaluable, and together we can continue this powerful dialogue of discovery and healing. If you feel this video has brought value to your spirit, or helped you find light amidst darker days, I humbly invite you to offer a little energy to help me continue creating videos that share these profound insights and divine words. Every contribution, no matter how small, is an invaluable blessing to me and helps keep this mission of unveiling ancient truths alive. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey. Please like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe to the channel to join our growing community of truth seekers and spiritual adventurers. Let's continue to explore the mysteries of history and uncover the healing wisdom that awaits us.